Asterisk, the video opens with dynamic, high-contrast visuals reminiscent of Dragon Ball Z, an animated version of the coach, with chiseled muscles and an electric aura, stands in a cosmic void, energy crackling around him. The music is a powerful, orchestral rock track that pulses with energy. Coach. ### Phase 1. The hook: there's a poison that infects the strong. A subtle, creeping paralysis that masquerades as virtue. It's the feeling that your strength, your talent, your energy, doesn't belong to you. It belongs to everyone else. It's the constant pressure to be the problem solver, the reliable one, the hero who always says, yes. You carry the weight of other people's worlds on your shoulders, and while they call you a hero, you know the truth. You feel the cracks forming in your own foundation. We're going to give this poison a name. We're going to call it the hero's paradox. The paradox is this. The very sense of duty that makes you want to save everyone is the same force that is grinding you into dust, making you weaker, duller, and less capable of saving anyone at all, least of all yourself. But what if I told you the antidote wasn't more self-sacrifice? What if the antidote was a radical, focused, and powerful form of selfishness? Stick with me through this session. Because I promise you, by the time we are done, you will understand how the most notoriously selfish hero in all of fiction, Son Goku, holds the philosophical key to shattering the hero's paradox. You will learn how to reclaim your power, redefine your purpose, and finally give the world what it truly needs, the most powerful version of you. Asterisk. The title card slams onto the screen with a burst of energy. Goku's selfishness. The surprising philosophy of the hero. The music swells and then settles into a more thoughtful, rhythmic underscore. ## Phase 2. The problem: let's be honest with each other. You know this feeling intimately, don't you? That low, humming exhaustion that lives behind your eyes. It's the exhaustion of 1,000 small compromises. You have your own training to do. Your own mountains to climb. You have a vision for your body, for your mind, for your life. A power level you know you're capable of reaching. But the requests never stop. A friend needs a favor on the one night you set aside for the gym. A family member has a crisis that, coincidentally, only you can solve. A colleague at work leans on you, just this once, because you're so damn good at what you do. And you say yes. You say yes with a smile, because you're a good person. You're dependable. You're the hero of your own story, and heroes help people. But as you say it, you feel a flicker of something else inside. A quiet, burning resentment. A voice that whispers, "What about me? When is it my turn?" You immediately feel guilty for thinking it. You crush that voice down. You tell yourself it's selfish. And so you do the favor. You solve the crisis. You carry the team. And when you finally get a moment to yourself, you're too drained to train. Too tired to pursue your own goals. Your own epic quest is perpetually on hold, because you're a guest star in everyone else's. Let me tell you the hidden cost of this, the part that no one ever warns you about. The price of being everything to everyone is that you become nothing to yourself. It's not just about lost time. It's a fundamental dilution of your very essence. Every time you say, yes, when your spirit screams, no, you're taking your sharpest sword, your focus, your energy, your potential, and using it as a clumsy hammer to solve a problem it was never meant for. The blade gets chipped. The edge grows dull. And the tragic irony is that when a real crisis comes, a genuine, world-ending threat that only you can face, your sword is no longer sharp enough to make the cut. Your power level has stagnated. Your spirit has been blunted by 1,000 trivialities. The hero's paradox has claimed another victim. You failed not because you were weak, but because you spread your strength too thin. ## Phase 3. The solution now. Let's talk about a warrior who is relentlessly, almost pathologically, immune to this paradox. A man who has been criticized by fans, by his friends, and even by his own wife for being a terrible father, an absentee husband, and a selfish fighter. Let's talk about Son Goku. From the outside, the criticisms seem valid. He prioritizes training over farming. He seeks out a good fight with the enthusiasm of a child chasing a new toy. He even gave a senzu bean, a bean of magical healing, to his mortal enemy Cell right before his own son was meant to fight him to the death. On the surface, These actions look like pure, unadulterated selfishness. But I want you to look deeper. Past the surface-level morality play. What we mistake for selfish irresponsibility is, in fact, a profound and ruthlessly effective philosophy for life and for power. It is a doctrine that allowed a low-class Saiyan to ascend to the level of gods. We will call it the doctrine of the sharpened sword. The core of this doctrine is a simple, earth-shattering idea. The single greatest, most valuable, and most heroic gift you can give to the world is the most powerful, fully actualized version of yourself. Goku doesn't save the world in spite of his selfish focus on training. He saves it because of it. His selfishness is not about taking from the world. It's about having more of himself to give when it truly matters. It's a strategic investment in the only tool he has to protect everything he loves, his own strength. Let's break this doctrine down into its 3 core principles. Principle 1. The prime directive of self-actualization. Every decision Goku makes can be traced back to a single, unwavering prime directive: to become stronger, to push his limits, to surpass the man he was yesterday. This is not driven by a need to dominate others, but by an insatiable curiosity about his own potential. It's a pure, uncorrupted drive for self-mastery. Your prime directive is that one activity, that one pursuit, that one core pillar of your life which, when you focus on it, elevates everything else. It is the training that sets your soul on fire. For a warrior, it's their martial arts. For an artist, it's their craft. For a scholar, it's their research. The hero's paradox tricks you into believing that your prime directive is a selfish luxury you can attend to after you've met all your obligations. The doctrine of the sharpened sword insists that your prime directive is your primary obligation. It is not secondary to your duty, it is your duty. Principle 2. The principle of authentic contribution. Goku is a terrible radish farmer. It's not his calling. It drains his energy and bores his spirit. He could spend his life trying to be a mediocre farmer to please his wife, and the world would be destroyed by the next alien threat. His authentic contribution, his true value to his family, his friends, and his planet, comes when he is operating in his zone of absolute genius, fighting. He contributes most not when he's doing what is expected of him, but when he is doing what he was uniquely built for. You have a zone of genius, too. A place where you operate at a level others can't touch. The world will constantly try to pull you out of it. It will ask you to do tasks you're merely good enough at. The principle of authentic contribution demands that you protect your zone of genius ferociously. Your greatest service to others is not to be a jack of all trades, but to be a master of one. You help the world most by offering it your unique, irreplaceable, and powerful gift. Principle 3. The principle of the gravity chamber. To prepare for the fight on Namek, Goku trained in a ship that could simulate gravity up to 100 times that of Earth. This was a period of intense, isolated, and purely selfish focus. No one else benefited from it in the moment. He wasn't answering calls or solving daily problems. He was locked away, pushing his body to the absolute brink of destruction, day after day. This is the gravity chamber. It is a sacred space and time you must create in your life, dedicated solely to your own growth, free from the demands and expectations of the outside world. This time is not a luxury. It is a necessity. The intense, focused pressure you apply to yourself within the gravity chamber is what forges the raw power needed to handle the unpredictable crises of the outside world. Without the selfish ordeal of the gravity chamber, Goku would have been space dust before he even faced Frieza. Without your own gravity chamber, the pressures of life will crush you. Think of it this way. Imagine you are a legendary sword, forged to fell demons and protect the innocent. The world, in its endless need, will ask you to be a crowbar. It will ask you to pry open a stubborn jar. It will ask you to be a hammer to bang in a nail. It will ask you to be a shovel to dig a hole. And every time you consent, every time you allow your divine edge to be used for a mundane task, a tiny chip appears. The blade grows duller. The doctrine of the sharpened sword is the philosophy of refusing to be a crowbar. It is the discipline of saying, "No, I will not perform that function, because it will damage the one thing I was made for." It is the selfish, necessary act of preserving your edge, of staying in your scabbard, of spending your time on the whetstone, so that when the demon finally appears, you are sharp enough to cut it down in a single, perfect strike. That is Goku's selfishness. It is the wisdom of the sword. Phase 4. The application understanding a philosophy is one thing. Living it is another. So how do you begin to practice the doctrine of the sharpened sword in a world that demands you be dull? How do you apply this without alienating everyone you care about? This is your new training regimen. We are moving from theory to practice. There are 4 tactical, actionable steps you can begin implementing tomorrow. Step 1. Define your prime directive. Your first task is to find your true north. Tonight, or the next time you have 1 hour of uninterrupted silence, I want you to sit down with nothing but a pen and a piece of paper. No phone, no laptop, no distractions. At the top of the page, write this question. If all my obligations were magically fulfilled and I had complete freedom, what singular pursuit would make me feel the most powerful and alive? Be ruthlessly honest. Don't write what you think you should pursue. Write what your soul craves. Is it mastering a physical skill like weightlifting or a martial art? Is it building a business? Is it writing a novel? Is it learning a complex new subject? This pursuit is your prime directive. It's the becoming stronger that will serve as the guiding star for all your decisions. Write it down. Stare at it. This is your mission. Everything else is noise. Step 2. Build and defend your gravity chamber. Your prime directive needs a sanctuary. It needs a fortress. You must now build your gravity chamber. Look at your weekly calendar. Find a block of time. It could be 90 minutes 3 times a week. It could be a 4-hour block on a Saturday morning. It must be a recurring, non-negotiable appointment with yourself. Schedule it. Label it gravity chamber or prime directive training. This time is sacred. It is not free time. It is the most important time of your week. When it begins, you enter the chamber. All notifications are turned off. The door is closed. You work on one thing and one thing only, your prime directive. You must defend this time as fiercely as Goku defended Earth. When someone tries to book over it, when a quick favor arises, you must see it for what it is, an attack on your growth. Which leads us to Step 3. Master the noble number. This is where the sword meets the stone. You will be tested. You will have to say no, but you will not say it like a petulant child. You will say it like a warrior with a mission. You will use the noble number. A standard no feels like a personal rejection. The noble no is a statement of principle. When someone asks for your time that conflicts with your gravity chamber, you respond with calm conviction. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't do that at that time. I have a prior commitment to my training. Or, thank you for the opportunity, but that falls outside of my core focus right now. My energy is committed to this project. Notice the language. You aren't saying, I don't want to. You are saying, I can't, because I am bound by a higher commitment. You are not rejecting them. You are honoring your prime directive. You are framing your selfishness not as a whim, but as a code. Most people, when faced with someone who has a clear and powerful purpose, will respect it. The ones who don't are the very people whose demands are dulling your blade. Step 4. Redefine your contribution. Finally, you must shift your mindset from, how can I help, to, how can I contribute from my strength? Look at the areas of your life where you feel the most drained. Are you helping a friend move when your true strength is giving them strategic career advice? Are you volunteering to organize an event's finances when your real gift is public speaking? You are using your sword as a calculator. Begin to practice authentic contribution. Instead of just solving someone's immediate problem in a way that drains you, ask yourself, what is the sharpest edge version of my help here? Maybe instead of doing a task for someone, you use 15 minutes to teach them how to do it, empowering them for life. Maybe your greatest contribution to your family is not doing more chores, but being so energized and present from your own focused training that your positive energy elevates the entire household. Stop offering the world your tired, blunt, obligatory help. Start offering it your sharpest, most powerful, and most authentic self. That is a gift of infinitely greater value. This is not a path of ease. It requires discipline. It requires you to endure the discomfort of being misunderstood. But it is the only path to true, sustainable power. Phase 5. The proof. Does this philosophy actually work? Or is it just a convenient excuse to be a jerk? The proof is etched into the most pivotal moments of the Dragon Ball Z saga. Consider the Cell games. This is the ultimate case study in the doctrine of the sharpened sword. Goku makes a series of decisions that, on the surface, are shockingly selfish and borderline insane. First, after a year of training in the hyperbolic time chamber, he emerges and decides to relax. He takes his son fishing. He rests. He appears to be slacking off in the face of planetary annihilation. This is the principle of the gravity chamber in action. He knows that true power isn't just about endless grinding, it's about strategic recovery to allow the gains to set in. Then comes the most controversial moment of all. He fights Cell, realizes he cannot win, and forfeits. He then gives the fully powered, monstrous villain a senzu bean, healing him completely, and volunteers his 11-year-old son, Gohan, to fight in his place. Everyone is horrified. It looks like the ultimate act of cowardly, selfish parenting. But Goku is operating on a different philosophical plane. He is not just trying to solve the immediate problem. He is practicing authentic contribution at the highest possible level. He recognized his own limit. His prime directive of becoming stronger had led him to a wall. But in his selfish, time-training Gohan, he saw that his son's potential dwarfed his own. His greatest contribution was no longer to be the hero who wins the fight. It was to be the master who forges the next hero. Pitting Gohan against a full power cell was not an act of cruelty. It was the final, terrifying application of pressure needed to unlock Gohan's latent power and force him to surpass his limits. Goku had to be selfish enough to trust his own profound insight over the panicked cries of his friends. He had to sharpen a new sword, because he knew his own was no longer sharp enough for this particular demon. This isn't just anime fantasy. This concept is mirrored in the highest echelons of human performance and psychology. Consider the work of psychologist Dr. Murray Bowen, whose family systems theory introduced the concept of self-differentiation. It's the ability of an individual to maintain a strong sense of self, to follow their own principles, and to avoid being emotionally fused with the anxieties and demands of the group. A person with high self-differentiation can remain connected to others without their personal goals being hijacked by group pressure. They can love their family deeply, but they do not allow the family's anxieties to derail their prime directive. This is the psychological blueprint for the doctrine of the sharpened sword. Think of the greatest artists, scientists, and athletes in history. Leonardo da Vinci didn't produce the Mona Lisa by committee. Michael Jordan didn't become a 6-time champion by saying yes to every social invitation. His selfish and legendary dedication to practice, often alienating teammates, is precisely what forged the Chicago Bulls dynasty. His authentic contribution wasn't being everyone's best friend. It was being the greatest basketball player on the planet and elevating everyone around him through his sheer, uncompromising standard of excellence. The logic is irrefutable. A diluted force is an ineffective force. You cannot pour from an empty cup. A power source that is constantly drained by trivial outputs will fail when maximum output is required. Your responsibility is not to answer every call. Your responsibility is to build yourself into the person who is capable of handling the one call that truly matters. And that requires a courageous, unapologetic, and strategic selfishness. It requires you to honor your own power, first and foremost. Phase 6. The call to action. We have journeyed to the core of the hero's paradox and found the antidote in the unlikeliest of places. The selfish heart of a hero. You now possess the doctrine of the sharpened sword. You have the principles and the tactics. But knowledge without action is useless. The training session is over. The real work begins now. So I have a question for you. And I want you to answer it in the comments below. Let's make a public declaration. A commitment. What is the one selfish goal, your prime directive, that you have been putting on the back burner for the sake of others? Is it your physical training? Your creative project? Your business idea? Write it down. Declare it. Let this community be the witness to your new commitment. It's time to start sharpening your sword. If this philosophy has ignited something within you, If you are tired of feeling dull and drained and are ready to forge yourself into the weapon you were born to be, then there is a place for you here. This is not just a channel, it is a dojo for the spirit. Hit that subscribe button. Join the Limit Breaker legacy, and take your place among the warriors who are not afraid to pursue their own power. And as you embark on this path, you will inevitably face the loudest voice of opposition, your own inner critic. The part of you that craves the approval of others. This is why your next training session is already prepared. You need to understand the psychology of pride and ego. Your next mission is to watch our deep dive, Vegeta's Pride. How to turn your greatest weakness into your superpower. It is the perfect complement to today's lesson and will give you the tools to master the internal demons that rise up when you choose your own path. Click the link on your screen now. The fight continues. Never forget, the sharpest sword provides the greatest service. Now go and train.